After that, everything changes. Good morning, everyone. This is Chris, and this video is about my spiritual preparations for the chastisement. But first, I would like to say I've noticed something funny going on with the YouTube comments. Please rest assured I'm not removing anyone's comments. I've noticed they show up in my email and they show up in my notifications, but they aren't showing up under the videos, and I don't know why, but I'm not removing them. Now I'm going to cover my spiritual preparedness for the chastisement, and I think this is more important than all of the physical preparedness combined. This really should have been my first video. First off, I need to go to confession. Everyone really ought to be going to confession a lot. My goal, hopefully, is sometime in the future I'll be going once a week, but once a month should be the minimum because things are getting kind of rambunctious in the world. Going to confession, yeah, that's going to be a really good idea. And I need to be going to Mass and receiving the Eucharist more often, not just the Sunday obligation. This is so terribly important, and I think, well, let's face it, it's such an essential part of spiritual preparedness, the Holy Mass. I have my crucifix. Yes, I've had this one blessed. I have another smaller one. I plan to hang one on the front door and the back door when the time is appropriate. Then I want more holy water. I have bottles and bottles of this. I'm going to go to my parish and get more of them filled up because what I'm going to do, if I receive enough warning ahead of time, and this is probably a good idea to do at least once a week, is to sprinkle holy water around the household. But if I receive a sufficient amount of warning, you better believe I'm going to be sprinkling holy water all over the house. And I would like to confess, well, I have not been saying my rosary every single day, not been saying a daily rosary. I need to get that on that as soon as possible. This is one of my favorite rosaries. Yes, it has been blessed. And I think it's such a beautiful rosary. I pray with this one as often as I can. But doing it daily, I haven't been doing that, and I need to start. On a side note, I discovered this rosary online. This is called a battle rosary. And this was issued to troops, I think, in World War I, possibly World War II. It's made of steel. It's a strong, tough rosary that I'm not worried about carrying this in my pocket and breaking it. I have broken rosaries in the past by doing that. I'm not worried about breaking this one easily, though. I am glad I bought this. This is one of my scapulas. As you can see, this one's made of metal. I was worried about getting my other scapula dirty or possibly breaking it because it's just thin string. It looks like it might be easy to break that in case, well, in the event that times are actually really tough. So I bought a couple of these metal ones, and yes, they have been blessed. I fully intend to be wearing my scapula often. And here's my Bible. As you can see, it is the Douay Rheims or Douay Rheims Bible. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. That is my Bible that I shall be reading from. And this is my book of prayers. As you can see, the cover's, well, the poor cover has been worn away, but I guess that's a good thing if it's worn. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of praying, and this will come in useful in that regard. And here are my beeswax candles, and yes, they have been blessed. I understand it's very important to have these in the house. Something interesting I've learned about beeswax candles, they are very, very good at cleaning particles out of the air. And that is one of the reasons when I discovered that, it's one of the reasons why I am convinced that the chastisement in the way of the 3 days of darkness will involve volcanic activity. And I'm thinking that's perhaps why beeswax was recommended. So they're blessed for spiritual protection, and their beeswax, which is for physical protection from ash, possibly. I could be wrong on this, but that could be why beeswax is recommended. Here are two other candles that I've had blessed. They are not beeswax, so I don't know how beneficial they'll be, but I do have them. One is the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ, and the other, that is Our Lady of Guadalupe. That's one of my favorites. I love that story. But I did have them blessed. I don't know what kind of benefit they'll be, but sometime in the future, having any kind of light source in the house is going to be a good thing, and they might be beneficial for spiritual protection if they're blessed. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to have spiritual literature on hand. The Secret of Mary, the 12 Steps to Holiness and Salvation, Uniformity with God's Will, The Secret of the Rosary. Please understand I have a lot more books than just these 4. Good spiritual reading is so important in my opinion, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of good books on hand, because in the future I have a feeling things are going to be particularly rough, and I'm going to need all of the spiritual reading and help that I can get. And that's it for this video. These are my spiritual preparations for the Great Chastisement, which may or may not happen sometime in the near future, but I'm looking out, I'm watching the news, and I'm thinking that something big is going down, so it's probably best to be prepared for that. And going to confession regularly and attending Mass like I'm supposed to, and praying hard, well, that's always going to be of great benefit. And that's the end of this video. This is Chris. So long, and God bless.